Let's start to pick up to measure 86. Good. This kind of passage is very tricky because it goes from having an eighth note subdivision built into the music to having that subdivision taken away to going to having no sound and having rests, but then having rhythm after that. So there are a couple ways we could solve this. The most direct way is simply, well, really the most direct way is just to ask the ensemble to make sure that we subdivide during sustained notes or rests. So if we could start, please, measure 88, the end of the subdivided, the rhythmic section. And as we're playing dotted half notes or just an eighth note with rest, we can make sure that in our mind's ear we're thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 to make sure that our internal subdivision stays consistent. So here's everybody, measure 88, please. The downbeat of the second to last measure is not quite together because our internal subdivision really isn't thinking deep, da, deep, da, 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 da. So let's try that again and make sure that we really place that note together. Same place. This is measure 88 with everybody. That's better. So another way to solve this is to overlay an external metronome. It could be an electronic metronome. It could be tss, 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 tss. For now, let's go back to Mrs. Metronome because she did a good job before. Let's add just a straight eighth note pulse all the way through the end, and so we'll externalize this internal metronome. So let's turn on this metronome. And maybe we take the snare off so we find a sound that's a little bit more in the style of what we're doing. Good. Here's measure 88, please. And then eventually we can try that a few times. Repetition is important, and then take it away, perhaps fold it back into tss, tss, or make it softer, and do the same sort of thing. We can also help ask the ensemble to externalize the subdivision. So let's try that. So starting 4 before the end, if you have a half note, instead of playing da, can you play da, 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 dum, and externalize your subdivision. So no miss metronome. Here's everybody measure 88. Let's try it again. We can hear that our externalization of the subdivision isn't quite together, so we're actually bringing to the outside some of the internal problems we're having. So let's try that again. 88, externalize the subdivision. Good, and let's take the external subdivision away, but feel that very strongly inside. As a matter of fact, maybe we can step off by wah-wahing it. So instead of da to go wah, 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 just to affect the embouchures so we can hear it in the context of a sustained sound. 88 with everybody. So that helps a bit, and we can eventually take that away. But it doesn't solve the problem with the last two measures that has a dum with a rest, and there's nothing to externalize. But we can actually recompose a little bit. So if you play the downbeat of the second to last measure, can you repeat that note? So dot, 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 and 1. And so we'll just create something else to externalize the subdivision. Let's try that, just the last two measures, if you have an eighth note on that downbeat. So let's make sure it's exactly together. 2 and 3 and. Good. Make it a little bit softer. So da, do, 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 dum, bum. So we'll recede it into our mind's ear. Good. It's not quite together. Listen. Yeah, we're getting a little bit early in Barry sax. One more time. That's good. Let's take the external subdivision away and just play it, but hear it in your mind's ear. Very good. So the other way to do it, or another way to do it, is to take the conductor completely out of the equation and treat the ensemble, especially because it's a relatively thin texture, as a chamber group. So that implies not only that we have an internal sense that's very, very strong, but there's also a chamber sense in terms of eye contact, moving. So for example, Aaron and Richard, you can move a little bit on that upbeat, dum bum, and the folks in back, ebony and euphoniums can help, and tuba can help watch that, and so we can play that together. So let's try the last, same place, measure 88, and just, I'm going to get off the podium, and just think of yourselves as a large wind quintet. Measure 88. It's a little odd with the conductor still standing up here. Ignore me. I actually I'm not here, and we can exaggerate. So we can do this. We're all essentially holding batons. And so use that. We have breath. We have upper body motion, and we can show cues, just as we would in an ensemble situation, a small ensemble. 88 again. Which note is not together? Which attack is not together? Raise your hand. Yeah. First beat of 91. That's not together, absolutely. Is there another one that's not together? Take a listen. Let's self-evaluate as we go. Here's 88. Good, so besides 91, which I agree was not quite together, is there another one? Listen to the downbeat of 90 and see if you can evaluate what's going on between folks that are already playing and the folks that are entering. Here's 88 again. Any ideas? It actually fixed itself. And that's actually a lesson that once we're aware of their possible problem, what was happening before is that the folks who entered were a little bit late, and the folks that were already in moved a little bit early, even though we were all prepping. But once we were aware of the issue, it made it a whole lot better. Let's try it one more time in 88. And let's see if we can taper the note in 90 so it's the same length if you have a tie going over. Just a little bit shorter so it matches the eighth note folks who entered that measure. Here's 88. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to start it. Aaron, will you start it? Just with a good upbeat. Here's 88, and we'll watch Aaron. Good. That's a little, I know it's a little hard to see across the ensemble. That's okay. We'll try it again. Still feels a little long. Just a little speck of sound to match the eighth notes behind. That's better. We'll lock it even more between tubas where I realize we're going over a couple rows to see her. One more time. Yes? We have a written quarter note. Yeah, it's true. It is a quarter note against the eighth, and there is an argument to be made for making it longer. But let's just, we'll make it so it's a coherent argument, yeah. Good, and now we'll keep it in this chamber setting just so we can kind of identify the end of the piece. Let's take a little time on that last upbeat. So dee-dum, dum-bum, almost like a little bit of a semicolon or comma, small comma between the last two notes without me. Aaron's going to start it. Good. Hopefully you're not satisfied with the movement between the folks who entered and the folks who did. It's an internal subdivision issue. We might put Miss Metronome on it, but let's see if we can make our internal metronome good. One more time, Aaron. Yeah, do it again. We have to kind of find our C legs on it. That's okay, but still comma. Dum, dum, not da, da, da. Dum. Good. So let's make sure that if Barry sax and bassoon can really listen in the opening there, so that can be together. One more time. Hopefully you're not satisfied with that entrance. Let's try it again. Yeah, it's pretty good. So let's see if we can self-evaluate what's going on rhythmically in the very opening when Aaron's giving the upbeat. Are the voices in the back behind or ahead? Take a listen. Let's try it. Behind or ahead? They're behind, yeah. So let's see if we can anticipate that a little bit. It might be a sound issue that we're a few rows back. It may be that you're having trouble hearing, but we can compensate. Let's try it again. That's better. That's better. Try it again. Are you able to see her? Pretty well. We can move it. Okay, maybe we can exaggerate that upbeat. Oh, that's very nice at the end. Let's go pick up to 86, put this all together. That was much better in that opening.